Covering over 728,000 acres, Big Cypress Wildlife Management Area spans parts of Collier, Dade, and Monroe counties and borders Everglades National Park. It's an outdoor adventurer's dream, but it's also home to some deadly predators: alligators, the Florida panther, and the black bear. 89-year-old Robert Markel lived in Florida's unincorporated Collier County community of Jerome. He was a quiet and unassuming man and enjoyed the peace and quiet of his relatively remote home off State Road 29. The quiet life suited Robert. Despite reaching a grand old age, he kept himself active, and every day he would venture out to walk his beloved dog. But on Monday, May 5th, 2025, the unthinkable happened. Robert was home alone, just him and his faithful companion. He woke up as dawn broke and got dressed. Then, in the early morning light, he stepped outside his camper home to take his dog for a walk, but he would not return. There was a predator nearby. A black bear was lurking in the undergrowth just a few hundred yards away. It was one of around 4,000 black bears in Florida. Typically considered shy, these black bears rarely cause problems for Florida residents. But this time was different. Nobody knows exactly what happened. At the time of making this video, the details are still coming in, and officials are speculating about the circumstances. Either Robert inadvertently startled the black bear, or it was purposefully stalking him. 85% of the black bear's diet is made up of vegetation. The rest is from meat and fish, largely carrion. But there are times when black bears see humans as prey. An elderly man with little in the way to defend himself could be seen as an easy meal. Black bears are nearly impossible to see if they are stalking you. They tread carefully over the ground, pausing to hide behind trees and bushes, stopping to sniff the air and listen to their surroundings. People rarely see them until it's too late. Had Robert turned around at the last second to see the bear lunging at him? Had he been struck from behind and knocked to the ground before feeling the immense pressure of the bear on his back? Or had his dog startled the bear and her cubs? Maybe she was acting out defensively. She saw the pensioner as a threat and needed to neutralize it by delivering a powerful blow. Whatever happened, there was a ferocious fight that morning, and Robert's daughter was about to have the shock of her life. Early on Monday morning, she heard a loud yelping. There was a commotion coming from the edge of the community housing. She stepped outside. The air was crisp. She felt an uneasiness wash over her, and she walked down the street. When she rounded the corner, she saw a terrifying sight. There, just yards from where she stood, was a black bear. She froze, hardly daring to breathe. Then, when she looked a little closer, she saw where the yelps had been coming from. The bear was standing over a dog. It was heartbreaking to watch the dog's last moments, feeling powerless to stop it. Then came the terrifying realization that this wasn't just any dog. Robert's daughter recognized it straight away. This was her father's dog. She watched for a few horrified seconds as the dog struggled in the bear's powerful jaws, but there was nothing she could do. Then the bear looked up, and their eyes met for a second. Robert's daughter retreated slowly and carefully. No one was out and about that early in the morning. She was all alone and knew the danger she was in. When she was out of sight, she rushed to call 911. As she made the call, her heart was thundering in her chest. She had so many questions. Where was her father? Had he run off while the dog distracted the bear? Or had he already succumbed to a bear attack? At the age of 89, he was vulnerable at the best of times. She was terrified something had happened to him, but couldn't locate him. He wasn't at his camper and didn't respond when she called his name. But there were some disturbing signs at the camper van, as the sheriff's department was about to find out. It was 7:07 a.m. when Collier County Sheriff's Office received the distressing call for help. By the time they arrived at the scene, the bear had run off into the surrounding brush. But there was still no sign of Robert. Officers searched Robert's camper. It was in disarray. The mattress was off the bed, and there were items scattered all over the place. Clearly, something had happened to the elderly man. When looking outside, the officers found some of Robert's belongings. First, his wallet lay on the ground, partially hidden by vegetation. There were spatters of blood all over it. Next, they found his pants, and then his shirt, both also bloody and torn. Things were going from bad to worse. They knew they would find something devastating soon. They searched around where the dog's body lay, cautiously scouring the surrounding woodland. It wasn't long before they sadly found what they were looking for. Just within a wooded area off SR 29 near Copeland, north of Everglades City, they spotted something. It was the body of a man lying crumpled on the ground, 100 yards from the dog. It was Robert. At first, there was no way of telling how long Robert had been lying there for, but it was estimated that he had been killed around 2 hours earlier. He was battered and bruised. He had bite marks on his body and claw marks across his face. The pensioner had been no match for the black bear. But had it been the same black bear that had killed his dog? Was there a killer bear on the loose? The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission urged caution to local residents. They warned people who lived in the vicinity to remain vigilant and for others not to visit the area. The incident sent shockwaves through the local communities. Although bear attacks in Florida are reported each year, this was the first fatal black bear attack in the state on record. Typically, people find themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time. In 2018, there was a serious attack on a man in his own backyard. The attack occurred on January 9, 2018. Although it was a particularly nasty incident, that particular attack 7 years ago did not result in a fatality. Andrew Mounier opened his back door to let his dog out when his dog growled and ran back inside the house. Curious, Andrew stepped outside and came face to face with 3 black bears in his backyard. One of them pounced on him so quickly that he didn't have time to react. He managed to survive the attack, but sustained substantial injuries to his face. And the same thing happened to Robert. Had he accidentally startled a black bear outside his camper, or had he been purposefully stalked by the black bear, something that black bears are known to do? While officers were scouring the area for more clues and going from door to door to find any witnesses, 3 loud shots rang out. Wildlife officials had located 3 black bears in the area. Out of extra precaution, they killed all 3. DNA samples collected at the site of Robert's body and those from the bears themselves were sent to the University of Florida in Gainesville for analysis. At the time of making this video, it's not known whether any of those bears were responsible for the attacks. As well as shooting the nearby bears, wildlife officers also set up traps and cameras to try and capture the culprit. Only time will tell whether those bears were responsible for the attack, and as more details emerge, it will become clearer about what exactly happened to Robert Markel.